So we needed a plan for transportation moving well into the future, and we went out for bids. And GMC is the lucky won the bid, and they began work just a few months ago with us to work on a joint comprehensive transportation plan so that we can bring in all three cities. We've worked with the Joint Development Authority. We're working with you all as well, and all of our citizens and community members here to do what's best for the county transportation-wise in the next 20 years.
What's up, Camden County? You are catching episode 106 of the Get In Your Business podcast. I'm your host, Allison Shores with the Camden County Chamber of Commerce. This Get In Your Business podcast is made possible by our Chairman Circle sponsors, Georgia's Own Credit Union, Lockheed, Comcast, Georgia Power Company, Sparklight, Plug Power, St. Mary's DDA, TDS Telecom, and Ameris Bank. Thank you to all of our sponsors. All right, guys, I like to take some community input on things, and I know that y'all have got a lot of questions about sidewalks and traffic and red lights and all these things that are going on in our community. So I thought I would just bring some people on here that may have some answers for us. So I'm going to take a second and let you guys introduce yourselves, and then we will get started. So Shannon, let's start with you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shannon Nettles. I'm with Camden County's Board of Commissioners. I am the interim deputy county administrator, and I'm glad to be here to talk about this transportation plan.
Hello, everybody.
That's nice.
Glenn Coyne, and I am a city planner, and I've been the city planner for almost 40 years, and I work with a company called Goodwin Mills Kaywood. We go by GMC, and we have been brought in by Camden County and the partners to help put together a transportation plan, which we'll talk about.
Hello, everyone. Kalanos Johnson. I'm also with GMC. I've been a planner for about 30 years now. So Glenn and I have worked together, known him about 20 years. And so it's a pleasure to be here, and we look forward to answering any questions you may have.
Awesome. All right. So people have been asking a lot of questions, Shannon. So let's just kind of dive in, because I found out that you guys received a grant to do kind of a plan and figuring out what the future looks like here in Camden County. I know a lot of people see, businesses come in, some residential coming up, and they're like, well, what all is happening in Camden? So let's talk a little bit about, what you guys saw and how you got this grant and those kinds of things. So start there.
So we needed a plan for transportation moving well into the future, and we went out for bids, and GMC is the lucky won the bid, and they began work just a few months ago with us to work on a joint comprehensive transportation plan so that we can bring in all three cities. We've worked with the Joint Development Authority. We're working with you all as well, and all of our citizens and community members here to do what's best for the county transportation-wise in the next 20 years.
Oh, wow. 20 years. I don't think people realize how far into the future you have to start looking at things and making plans, because some of those things start, today, so that you can get stuff done in 20 years. So what exactly is a transportation plan?
I'm going to let the experts give us the information on that.
Perfect.
Sure. I'll take that one. Transportation plan. Looking at the efficient movement of people and goods, looking at what do you have on the ground now, your baseline conditions or existing conditions, looking at deficiencies, looking at where you would like to go in the future. And the term transportation, when I said people and goods, not just vehicles, not just cars, you're looking at sidewalks, pedestrian use, bicyclists, transit, off-road trails, freight movement, just to say for a few.
Wow. I feel like that's huge. Are there like certain areas in particular that you're looking in Camden County, or is it just as a whole, just all of Camden County?
Well, we're starting out as the whole county. In fact, it will probably involve a little bit of the surrounding areas too, because one of the most important things that are inputs into what we study is where are people traveling? Where do they live? Where do they work? Where do they go to school? Where do they shop? So we look at those transportation patterns, and a lot of those in Camden County go outside the county, in fact, outside the state. So we've learned already that There's a large amount of people that commute to and from Florida. Of course, the military, the naval base is a big attractor of traffic and people. So how people move around is a really big input, and it actually will encompass more than just Camden County to take all that into account. But the focus of the plan will be on improvements in Camden County for the future.
Okay. I feel like we all, we drive around and it feels as though traffic is increasing, especially at certain like spots and like points of the day. I know that people are feeling like it's increasing. How does the transportation plan translate those feelings into something useful? Like what do you do with that? Like, is there anything with that plan that makes it so that we can kind of know what's going on?
Sure. You mentioned all times of the day and at locations. We'll look at something we call origins and destinations. Where do the trips start? And where are you going? You leave home, or you going to school, or you going to work, or you going to an entertainment location? We will look at the routes, the actual the modes of transportation. Are you actually walking? Are you driving? Are you taking a shuttle or using a bicycle? There are certain areas that will be more congested than others just because of the nature of where they're located. Major activity centers, downtown, job centers. And so when you have a lot of individuals, not just cars, a lot of individuals moving at a certain location at a certain time, you may have what we call congestion. And so right now we're doing some data gathering and something else we need to add, the Georgia DOT, GDOT as we call it, is a major contributor to this particular project. We'll work with them on studies and data, getting traffic counts and the like. But right now we're meeting with stakeholders, and we're doing what we call a visioning and just kind of figuring out what are the issues. Your issues may be different from someone that's in Woodbine or the Naval Base or maybe in St. Mary's. But as Glenn mentioned, the term comprehensive means we need to look at it countywide and in and outside of the county as well.
So you were saying that, different people have different or experiencing different things all across the county. Like, will citizens and businesses have a chance to weigh in on this plan or this, while you're information gathering?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, Allison. That's one of the big components that excites Kalanos and I is the amount of public involvement that we have planned. And, as Kalanos was telling you about the types of things that are inputs, it's not only today, but it's 20 years from now. It's 10 years from now. So we're talking about where are the new developments proposed? Are there subdivisions? Are there commercial developments, industrial growth? So we're tracking all of that and have great conversations with the planners in each of the cities and the county to figure that out. But the public, we have a couple things happening. Number one, we have an online community survey, which is open now. It will be open for about 4 weeks. And that survey has a bunch of questions which people can give us their thoughts about transportation, how they use it, what they'd like to see. We also have a series of open houses that are kicking off on the 22nd and 23rd of June. And all of this information is available through the Camden County's website. They have a special page set up just for the transportation plan. But I would encourage people today to just go on and take that survey, tell us what they think. There's some open-ended questions where they can go as long as they like to talk. And but really, it answers a lot of things we've been talking about, and it allows us to get a lot of information very quickly.
Now, I hope I'm allowed to ask this question, but are you gathering information through like cell phone usage? Is the cell phone data where you're getting most of the information from, like as far as the data part of it?
We haven't really done too much of that yet with our, Kalanos, with our plan, but we are looking at a lot of census data. We're looking at traffic data, accidents, traffic count. We're doing a lot of tracking of building permits, things like that. But, in terms of detailed traffic analysis using that type of stuff, that would be an outgrowth of this transportation plan, I believe.
Okay. Now, once you've collected all this data and once you've got all the information, what do you do with that information?
Well, the next step is looking at needs, opportunities, and which lead into goals and maybe objectives, strategies. And so based on the data, based on, as Glenn mentioned, the survey, there will actually be 2 rounds of surveys. The first round will be visioning. conditions, what's on the ground now. And later on, we will come back, do another round, once we get to the recommendations phase. But we'll take the data and put together some issues and needs for potential goals and maybe strategies to address those needs. And so we'll explain at our public meeting that there's a flow chart, there's a process. You have your data gathering, meeting with individuals, feeds into needs, issues, potential goals. We'll ask questions like the actual conditions of a road, potholes, and things of that nature. Are there sidewalks missing in a particular area? For those that are outdoor enthusiasts, what do you feel on bike lanes and trails and things of that nature? And those that are moving outside of the county. And so that help us to develop goals and maybe some strategies, which will then help us to achieve, the recommendations, which will come later on. So it's an iterative process, and we'll go through, and again, we'll be down this like a year, 14-month process. And right now we're just on the cusp of our initial data gathering and visioning. And so if individuals can come out on the 22nd and 23rd, next Monday and Tuesday, to give us some feedback, that would be great.
Okay, that's awesome. Hopefully that'll all be in the show notes, especially with a link to the survey. I hope people will take a chance to put in their input now and talk about it. I think a lot of people want to talk to each other about it and online, but these are the ways that you make a difference when you go and you take these surveys and come to the open houses and actually talk to people that are doing it and making decisions and those kinds of things. So I guess once you gather your information and make your recommendations, I'm assuming that it goes to local leadership. And at that point, how do they use it?
Great question. The process that Kalanos was describing ultimately will lead to a list of projects, and it would be in a series of what we call a universe of projects. So we can't do everything. There's not funding available for that, but we try to present people with what we came up with and then prioritize that. Some things we can do short term, some will be medium, some long term. And with that, we assign each project, we assign a cost and where that money might come from. It might be grants, it might be local sales tax, it might be general fund, it might be state government, federal government, lots of sources. So our goal is to present that list of projects, let people react to it and say, yeah, we support that list, and then make the edits that we need to. And then ultimately the plan would be adopted, and we would hope that each governing authority, the county and the 3 cities, would all take that in each time they do a budget, each time they apply for a grant, each time they think about improvements, or if a new development comes in, that might be an opportunity to widen that road. So use it as a tool ongoing as they go forward with their planning and their budgeting. So that's our ultimate goal, is to have something that's usable and that can be implemented, and not just a plan that sits on a shelf.
Yeah, I think you already touched on this, but I was going to ask how long, this process, this whole plan and the study of it, everything is going to take. I think you said 14 months. Is that what you said? Approximately. So, okay. And so it's just starting. Is this correct? Or have y'all been doing it for a minute?
Just started. We've had a couple of really good meetings there. And this first round of public open house and survey is our first big public opportunity for people to come and let us know. We'll have one in the middle again for people to come and talk to us, and then one near the end, a series of meetings so that they can see the progress of the plan going through. So yes, we've just getting started. There's plenty of opportunities to get involved. And again, I think the best thing is to just stay up to date with that web link that the county has, see what's going on there, and they'll do a really good job of publicizing where we are in the planning process all the way through.
That's really awesome. Shannon, was there anything that you wanted to add, to this conversation? Because I know, being at the county, I know you hear a lot of stuff, see a lot of stuff, all the things. So I didn't know if there was something that you wanted to add to this conversation.
Yeah, like Allison, from being here and what you see on social media every day about where our citizens think there needs to be a traffic light because there's too many accidents. We see that constantly. So this is our effort you can't just put a traffic light somewhere. It takes time, it takes study. We are working with the right individuals to make that happen for the future so we can make our community safer and give the people some of the things that they're really interested in having here. And the events coming up on the 22nd and the 23rd are so crucial because they you don't have to be there from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. You can drop in and stay for as long as you'd like. The surveys are awesome. If you can take a minute to go to our social media links, anything for CamdenCountyGA.gov, you're going to find something about this transportation plan there. And the surveys are linked on there as well as any of the social media posts that we put out. So we're excited about Monday and Tuesday's upcoming events, and they're localized to the center of Kingsland. I'm sorry. So we have a big meeting there in Kingsland, and we also have a large meeting in Woodbine set up, so we can get all the people to come and visit us and give us their thoughts and suggestions for going forward. So we're looking forward to it. We're excited to work with these gentlemen and their teams. And like they've said, it just started, so we're just getting going, and it should be pretty darn exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
And I want to say this too. I think it's so easy for people to ride by and say, oh my gosh, why don't we have a red light here? Why don't we have this here? Or, whatever it is. And I think that it's good to know that our people are on top of that. But I also need that, our leadership is on top of that. It's not that you're not looking at it or not, you don't care. You are looking at those things, but there are also processes, and we don't necessarily have, I guess, we don't control everything, all the roads here. Some of it's DOT, and just there's a lot of things that people don't realize. And I think that there is just a process, and we want to do it right. We want to make sure that something that we put in is not 2 years down the road. Just we got to get rid of it and got to change it again. You want to have an actual plan that can last as long as possible and be great for our future. So I thank y'all for taking the time to do not only this podcast, but to do the plan and everything on this. And it's just good to know that you guys are on it. And, it just takes time, and people have to be patient and understand that it's not just as simple as just throwing up a red light or putting in a sidewalk or, those kinds of things. So it goes way deeper than that. So, so guys, thank you both. Thank you all for joining me. Was there anything that you guys wanted to say or throw in anything that I didn't really ask?
Well, Allison,
today?
I will take the opportunity. Kalanos and I have worked on several of these around Georgia. And, although we've only been involved about a month and a half down there, the amount of collaboration that we're seeing is really amazing. I mean, we went to a meeting that the Joint Development Authority hosted, a collaboration meeting where I think it's quarterly, if I'm not mistaken. And they all, the communities in the city and the base and everyone gets together and talks about growth and development in a way that is collaborative, and they talk to each other. And believe me, that does not happen everywhere. And we are just really enthusiastic about working down there, and look forward to meeting a lot more people. But yes, we want to be transparent. We want to make sure people know this is going on, because it's your plan. You're going to take it and use it. We're just helping you get there. And so thanks again for the opportunity to chat with you today.
Yeah, awesome. Were you going to say anything, Kalanos?
No, Glenn pretty much summed it all. We have a saying that we do plans with communities and not for communities. And so, as you mentioned, it's your plan. We're just eager to get started, and look forward to seeing everybody on Monday and Tuesday of this week. And thank you for allowing us to participate in this podcast, Allison.
Yes, I just appreciate the information and going right to the source so we know actually what is happening. So I just appreciate it. I love the fact that you guys are going to come in and kind of look at it from an outside perspective and really figure out, what is best. And I think that's amazing. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to learning more on Monday and Tuesday. And I really want to push this survey, and I hope people will let their, let their input be heard. So thank you guys so much. Shannon, Glenn, Kalanos, thank you for today. I look forward to maybe having y'all back on so that we can, any updates or anything that you'd like to share, maybe then when we have the next open house, we can talk about it again, see where we are. But I appreciate y'all. Thank you. I hope y'all have a great day. Guys, you have caught episode 106 of the Get in Your Business podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe, and get to that survey.